but now I've got some basic console stuff working. So that's fun. So, what I have decided, or what I think works now, which is great, is the idea of putting the Python code, which is kind of right now going to be like, is going to be represented by this right here in a separate thread. Assume thread. I just had a question about that. Task Factory Start New. I don't know if it's a new thread or not. I think it is. I don't consider that to be an IO task, but it definitely uses a CPU to do this stuff. So, but by doing that, what I can do is suspend or pause that thread to do things like wait for user input without causing the drawing thread or the rendering thread, update thread, normal operation to be hung up. So I'm thinking that's going to work. One thing I'm not sure on is whether this music is super loud for you guys or not. I know I listened to my stream yesterday. I thought I had it good. Seems like it's less than my mic, so... Anyways, okay. So what can we get done really quick? Where did we leave off? You know what I can probably do quick is to get the IronPython script up and running with this instead of doing this here. So and the question is, one of the questions that I have for myself is running that Python script going to be, is there always going to be a Python script running, and then what if I run more than one, and how does that all relate to each other? In theory, I do have to run more than one because there's a program command in TI-83 that will actually run another program that are present in the console. I don't want to rely on the Python import for that kind of stuff. I want you to actually have to call out to another program and get a response back, or to run a sub-program. It's much more akin probably to the idea that turn my own. I wonder if, you know what, that's probably why it was low. Anyways, so when you run this additional program, you've got to suspend execution and wait for it to come back to you, which means that it's got to run in its own thread to continue to execute. So each program will be its own thread. So let's just get that going. So at the computer level, again, this is all just a simulated computer. Again, I need a stack like I had before, and then I want to put a class probably around the runtime of the program. So I'm just going to call it a program again. But it's not going to be the program like I had in FC360. It'll be the program. It'll be actually what I think I call the game, or the wrapper around the game. But I am going to stick with the program nomenclature, I guess, for this, because that's how it's kind of framed up in the TI-83 world. So we have stack. Now I can't actually have two, I don't want to have two executing at the same time. So what the program command will do is actually pop one on, and it will effectively suspend execution of the main one. So I'm going to have I'll have to write my operating system, or the base, the starting code in Python. And it'll use the program command to execute a program written by the user, or run program, or whatever. I think it's just PGRM in TI-83 land. And what that'll do is it'll pop or push a new program out of the stack, and it'll cause that execution to run. And when it pops off, then it returns back to the calling one. So but I'm not going to do, I think, like the create program. That might be a separate Python program that's just kind of well known. I was thinking about this. I'm going to write the Python scripts, but I'll probably store them in, maybe I'll store the ROM ones or the built-in ones in, not on the file system, but in a resource within .NET. I think I can add project resources and then pull them out of resources, so we'll see. I'm thinking through a lot of little design things right now. But let's get going on this. So we've got program, and this will be a shell around our IronPython code. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we did that before. And I will share variables between them using I'll have to have some sort of variable registry. I think there's such a thing in the TI-83 calculator that does that, which is what I'm trying to kind of, again, it's the inspiration for this whole fantasy console, is to get the feel of a TI-83 calculator without the TI-83 calculator, so, and expand it upon. So I think I had game runtime was what, no, I must have had it. Simplified. Okay, so we had Python create engine, and then we executed within the context of that engine. And I think that's just the way this has got to be as well. So I'm not going to do this. One of the things that I want to get away from is having the init update draw loop, because TI-83 you didn't do that. You just wrote the code and it just executed, which was fun. It was easier, it's simpler to reason about it. You write your own loop to do the game code. I don't want the game loop to be given to you in the way that it is in other ones. So if we do this, so we do create engine, which returns a script engine. Okay, one program will have their own engine. I believe. I don't know what the cost of that is. You might be able to run the same engine with different scopes. Not sure. Okay, so then we have an execute. And execute will. Okay, so now this is where things get a little interesting. So this execute technically has to run in its own red, or whatever. So I'm going to do actually, I do want to know when this is done, probably. So, well, just for simplicity, we'll ask factory start new, whatever, just take that name for now. Okay. And to do that, then we hit scope, based on our engine, normally. then so I'm gonna hold off on the views for now, because I don't think I need that. But I do want to set variables for the commands that I have working that I've done out here, which are clear, input, display. So let's have this okay for now. And this is home screen dot clear home. And that is an action. But I need to get access to all those things, so this will take. All right, so we got the computer. That's in computer dot home screen home. And I wanted to do display, which just takes is an action that takes a string. And then I wanted to do input, action that takes a function, or sorry, it's a function, derp. Function that takes a prompt, which is a string, and returns a string value. And that's that. And I also need to pass in the code for the program, I would think. Perfect. So this is create script source from string, and then execute script scope. So now in this case, this will run once. This is the code that I passed in. So unlike like I was doing before where I had the run menu, I'm going to not do that. So in FC260, when you were at this level menu, what would happen is that you would load in a program, like Sobieski, and now it's in memory, so there's one fixed thing in memory at a time, and then you would run it separately. And that was really it focused on the editor piece of it, but I think I can do the editing piece without doing that load process. So what will happen instead is that when you run, when you do just run it, it's just going to run the program. It's going to execute right away. It's not going to go to a separate menu. But that means I'll probably have to have an edit one in here. So instead of doing games, it'll be programs, edit, new, assist, or whatnot. So edit will have the same list, and then it'll go into an edit program. It'll be different. So in Python land then, and again this is the wrong version of Python, but I'm just going to use it to get going. I want to replicate my example from here. Which is to clear home, then input what's your name, then display hello, and then output, I'll just do the display hello, so it's a simple program. So clear home and then it would be input. I think you use singletons for this. Or do you? What's the this will be display. So this would be the simple program that I would have. Now, I think I can add. I'm just going to call this folder ROM for read-only memory. And what I'm going to do in here is put in os.py. And then I need to change this to be a resource. Okay, so my understanding is that resources will then get stored in the executable in a way that I can pull out, but it's not really going to be visible to the user. I have to remember how to access resources. I haven't done that in a while. So get resource by name. What I want is to get the resource by name. So there's a system resources resource manager for this namespace. I'm going to copy this for now. I'm going to probably clean it up later, but I'll work with that for my baseline here. So I'll include this in the infrastructure class. Actually, you know what I'll do? Wait, where'd my... Oh, did I put that in the wrong one? Yes, I did. I must have. No. Go. I had a folder in here called ROM. Or did I put it in this properties folder? No. What in the world? I must have missed something. What's there? Why did it get removed? Oh no, I don't want a ROM copy. Delete that. Let's take a look at this file and figure out what happened. Okay, it says include. Is there a way to refresh this? Huh. Oh, weird. So it's like not showing up. Oh, why is this? I must have clicked remove by accident. My bad. There it is. Alright. Derp. Okay, so this still gets compiled as a resource. Interesting that that gets compiled as a resource too. Why did that? Did I misclick that? Why did that get removed? Oh my gosh. I must have just totally misclicked some stuff. My bad. Wow. Hello. Okay, now I'm back to normal. Oh, that was odd. Okay, so ROM, I'm going to actually abstract this away as just ROM. Actually, this is the namespace ROM. So maybe this is, should just be called resources. And I will abstract this as ROM and infrastructure. Actually, why not? We'll make this a static class. Hello. And this should be public. So it's interesting. I wonder what namespace that gets compiled into then. I'm going to have to play with that. But I'll try it. So it might be MI83 core, or it might be MI83, probably. Could be MI83 resources. Well, that is the file name. You know what? I swear I've done this before. I'm gonna go take a look at mine quick. I think I might have done this. So this was actually to this extracted it and then spit it out to a file. This one So this actually did, like I said, a file stream, but I don't want a file stream. So this is a stream. I'm just gonna look it up quick. I don't do enough stream conversions to know off the top of my head. So you create a memory stream from it, stream reader, read to end. Oh, that's not too bad. Let's try that. Stream reader, disposable. It's a text reader. It's disposable, so I should probably do a using on that as well. Okay. This is from MonoGame. That's really my 3 resources, which is the same resource name. How did I have that defined? Say what? Oh. And I had a 2-path, but that didn't matter. So I wonder if I had to give it the extension, but we'll try. See, when you solve these things once and you store them in code. Oh, hey. Hi, 7sharp9. Why did you choose the TI-83 as a base? Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm gonna shut that music down. Thank you so much for telling me about that, because it's, I've been trying to get the audio right on that. Sometimes it's too quiet, sometimes it's not. Thank you. So why did I choose it as a base? It's because that's kind of where my, that was the first thing I programmed on. So when I think of fantasy console and developing games and the like heyday of it, for me was sitting there in homeroom or on in our study hall or whatever, and actually sitting there and just hammering away, or actually in my bedroom at night looking at the TI-83 manual and entering and stuff to try to create a game. A lot of it was menu based, although I used the drawing things to build a couple, and my friends and I, we would all build different things and share information and stuff. So to me, when I think about trying to recapture an experience, which is what a fantasy console is about. Yeah, yeah, it's all about, you know, what you personally connected with, and to me it was the TI-83. So the 6502 sounds like is your baby. So you know, yeah, so that's kind of the idea behind it, or why I got into that. And again, thank you for letting me know about the music. I'm trying to get the levels correct on this, so let me know if they are not correct. So this will be stored in here. Hopefully that'll work. So when the computer boots up, it needs to get the code from that, and then it needs to run a program. So program gets it here and executes it. This might break, but we'll see what happens. So I think PGRM was actually the command in do a great deal. I did more life hacking in the 6502 Atari ST and things like the Sega Mega Drive. Yeah, I got started in, like I said, the TI-83, so that would have been around 2000. I think I did maybe some quick basic, and you know, way back when I did some Apple Basic when we were learning computers in grade school. But I didn't really have those kinds of things available to me. I didn't really have a mentor that was in programming and stuff. So when I discovered it, was really just like oh, this calculator can do all these cool things. I'll work on it. And I didn't really get a real good appreciation for like this low level programming stuff until, you know, I think once the actually, I'll tell you, the moment was when, and I was looking this up this morning, was the DCPU 16, when the creator of Minecraft was going to come out with this game called Xerox 10C, or I think 10 to the C or whatever, and he released this spec for and the idea of having a computer, like a simulated computer inside of a game, really got me going. And so that's where I started to go down this track. And then with Pico 8 being released, I did some work on Pixel Vision 8, and I got into some low level stuff there that was fun. So tinkering at this level is just great. So I think I'm going to have a program command, but I'm going to create a boot that's not going to be available. That's going to run the OS program from it. So rom dot so we'll see if this works. Let's go like that, and then we'll do, oh, I need to make programs here. I'm gonna move up the stack of importance. Come on. $68,000. There was a lot of time hacking games and things like that I never did proper until years later. Yeah, you know, it's odd that we exist in this world where computing is so ubiquitous and stuff. But if you go back to those simple times, man, I wish I could have been where I am in my career now in the heyday of like all of this older tech, and maybe I'd hate it because it was so hard to get things accomplished. But you know, I have fonder memories of stuff. Code 90s. So the one thing that I did do assembly on is in college we had a course, and there was a I think I actually have the book, which I think mine I got rid of because I didn't appreciate it at the time, but I ended up borrowing someone that I went to college with's book, and I never gave it back. But there was an 8088 processor that there was an emulator that we wrote assembly code against, and yeah, yeah, me too. So this 8088 emulator, I remember there being a bug in it where we would try to put the number 13 into a register and we couldn't do it. And I can't remember what the reason was, but everyone ended up having to do this workaround. And I think this was a bug in the emulator because everyone tried to put the number 13 into this register. And what we ended up having to do was we ended up having to put 12 in the register and then issue a add command or an increment command to add 1 to it so we could get 13 in there. I can't remember the scope of it, but just like, I don't know, like when I was in college, that stuff was like, this is just, what am I doing? This is so painful. And now I'm just like, that was fun as heck. It's like, I don't know, complicated stuff can be fun. I don't know. Anyways, so I'm getting the OS from the read-only memory here, and then I'm going to take programs, and I'm going to .push. New program with the OS code. Actually, I'm going to create it, then execute it, then push it. Oh, man. I think I never typed on this keyboard before. Execute. Let's see if this works. So boot has to run. I think I'm going to run it from this side. So computer is created in the constructor. So after all my other initialization logic was done. Yeah, I think so the floppy disk stuff, and actually just trying to figure out like a cool system for how to store stuff. I mean, running off a spec just alone is complicated. Trying to design one is even more complicated. But yeah, you get down into that stuff, and it really makes you appreciate all of the stuff you don't have to write nowadays. They say we're standing on the shoulders of giants, but yeah, I don't know if that analogy is really great. It's like we're on the front line of a battlefield of fallen heroes. So, all right, we'll see if this works. So if everything works correct, I should have the same kind of hello experience. Oh, this cannot be null. Why is that null? It's probably because my resource doesn't exist in that name. I wonder if I have to leave the extension off, or if I didn't register that correctly, or if it didn't find it. Oh, geez. I said this is a resource. Why does it... Okay. Why does it remove that item when I add it as a resource? It's a resource. Build action should be resource, right? Then it just removes it. Maybe that's just the way it's supposed to be. No, I haven't done much with resources. I want it stored within the assembly. You know what I'm going to try doing? Seeing if they give me any sort of information when I get this names. Which, where am I using that for? Nothing. Oh, I was probably using that to debug when I originally wrote the code. To see what's in there. Okay, so there's nothing in it. Let me check how I structured that in here. Oh, it actually did remove the items. So like it takes it out of the... Okay, so it's an embedded resource is what I want. Not a resource. There we go. But if it removes it, I'll just have to leave it. Oh, there we go. I got something similar with the F-sharp platform game series when adding some resources. Oh, you have a F-sharp game series? Is that on YouTube or is it on like Pluralsight or something? Okay, so it read it. The code is correct. Oh, cool. I'm gonna have to check that out. Perfect. So that's running in. So the Python code should have executed and then just killed there. Which I do need to somehow know when this program is done running. So I think after this execute in thread, what'll happen is it'll have to set some sort of thing that says this is done, or it'll call back out to the computer and say pop is really what it should do, or whatever. So it takes it off the stack. I think I don't really need a stack. It just needs to be like a list. But all right, cool. I got this working. I'm gonna have to check out that on YouTube. Yeah, streaming is hard when you have. It's actually not too bad as long as no one's watching you. But as soon as you start interacting with people, which is fun. Don't get me wrong. I want people to watch and interact. So this is just running Python program less whatever. Oh my gosh, I don't understand. They like totally changed. Let me see. I don't know. They changed all this up on me. I gotta get pain correctly. I'm so used to master. Well, thanks for following along. I think I'm gonna go and I said it was gonna be a short one. I'm gonna go talk to or help my daughter with her food, and then just gonna read a story she's working on to me. So, yeah. So thanks for watching, and I'll probably be back on later this afternoon once that's all done. So have a good day if you don't come back. So.